What's happening, guys? Quick update on my channel because I know I haven't posted anything for quite a while now. Because this channel was centered around doing food vlog and training. But there's going to be a slight switch up because it's going to be now more gym vlogging based, and it's also still going to include food. Um, but yeah, because I go to so many different JD gyms, I thought it only makes sense to mix that in the mix with the vlog. So because I've been to so many, 33 and counting by the way, I thought that I'd use this video to basically just show off all the JD gyms that I've been to so far, and give a quick little review on what I think of the gym. Now, the only gym that isn't seen on here is the Glasgow North, I think it is, that I've been to. It's either Glasgow North or South. I think it's the North though, but I've been to one of them in Glasgow. Just that when I went there was only one JD Gyms in Glasgow, and then obviously when they made the other, then they had to name it North, South, or whatever. So as you can see on here, this is on my Instagram story. I've actually got a whole highlight of all the JD gyms I've been to. So this one's a Sheffield South one, which I think is a pretty good gym. It was, from what I can remember, I think it was an exercise for less residue. And what I mean by exercise for less residue is a JD gyms that was built off the back of the building being exercise for less. And why do I say exercise for less residue? Because they still keep the same dumbbells and the same weight plates in there, as well as the shower areas is still all exercise for lesses, and the treadmills. So these kind of JD gyms, some of them are good, but most of them are very basic from what I've been to. So this is the Sheffield South one. This is the clip that I have where you can see that I'm in there. My boxing technique is at that point in 2021 was not great at all, so excuse that. But yeah, this is a Doncaster one that I went to. I've only been there once. I've been to the Sheffield South one, I think, a couple of times now. Doncaster one I've only been once. Both gyms are 24-hour, I believe. I know the Doncaster one is. I think the Sheffield South one is a 24-hour gym. This Doncaster one, it wasn't built after an exercise for less, actually, from what I can remember. I think it's its own, it's its own gym, if that makes sense. So it'll have its own JD equipment. But this Doncaster one, yeah, it was a pretty decent gym, and I am going to go there again though. Again, my boxing technique is like well below par, but you'll see it progress better as I go along these stories. But yeah, that's the Doncaster one in South Yorkshire. Then Barnsley one, obviously I was in the hall on this one, practicing, tennis ball catches for boxing techniques. But the Barnsley one, that's again, it's a decent gym, decent size and everything like that. I've been there a couple of times now, probably maybe about 3 times in total. I've been there. Actually, no, more than 3 times. Because yeah, I've been there more than 3 times. Actually, I've been there quite a few times, and it's a decent gym. It's 24-hour as well. From what I can remember, I don't know if it was built after exercise for less, because during this period I was rarely using any weights. But I think maybe it might have been built after an exercise for less. But you could always Google it. But yeah, Barnsley, JD Gyms, South Yorkshire. Yeah, not a bad gym. Not a bad gym. So the next one on the snap is Coventry. Now I've been to this one once. This is the only time I've been to the JD Gyms in Coventry. It's pretty much in the city centre. And the reason why I'm able to go to JD gyms that are quite far away is because I work all over the country, so it helps. But yeah, this is when I was practicing juggling back in 2021. Obviously I'm a lot better now, but yeah, JD Gyms Coventry, not a bad gym. It has its own weights, as you can see the plates behind me there. So it's not no exercise for less residue, and it's quite spacious a gym as well. So yeah, I do want to go there again. Um, but being a HGV driver, it's parking your truck. It's parking somewhere decent for your truck, because that's the thing that makes it tricky about being able to go to so many different gyms all over the country. You see, this is the Leeds North JD Gyms. Now, it's changed a little bit now, because that JD Gyms burn that you can see there, they've now changed it so that they've put the calisthenics bar area in there, and I think the boxing bags have moved in there as well. So from what you can see here, the bag's not here now, if that makes sense. But this is the JD Gyms Leeds North. They recently refurbished it. I think it was one of the first JD Gyms in Yorkshire, I think it was. So it's kind of the OG JD Gyms. And this is one of 3 JD Gyms in Leeds. And I'd probably say it's probably the best one in Leeds. It's not no Exercise for Less residue, because at the time this was made, there was an Exercise for Less that was actually right next to this building at the time when Exercise for Less was open. So this JD Gyms is its own, and they do have the treadmill in there, where it's one where you run on it yourself, kind of thing. You're not, it depends on how fast you walk or run, kind of thing. Can't really explain it as clear as I can. And they also have the treadmills where you can press a button to go how fast you want to go. And let me explain what I mean by that. Basically, if I want to walk at 3 miles per hour, I can just press number 3. And then if I want to start running at 10 miles per hour, then I can just press the number 10. Same with the incline. If I want an incline of 15, I can just press it. If I want an incline of 30, I can press it. And if I want to go back to flat, I can press 0. This JD Gyms has that, and the Blackburn one has it, and there was another one that I've been to that has it, but I've been to so many. So yeah, this is a good JD Gyms. Yeah, I would recommend, if you're in Leeds, try this one, because it's a good JD Gyms. JD Gyms in Shrewsbury. This is probably the most spacious JD Gyms to date yet that I've been to. I've only been here once, but it was very spacious. And as you can see behind me, upstairs, there is a JD Burn, sorry. But yeah, it's probably the most spacious JD Gyms I've ever been to. But I think it is Exercise for Less residue, I think. I don't know. I can't see any weights behind me that indicates otherwise. It's been 9th of November 2021 was when I was here, so it's been a long time. But yeah, it's a really spacious JD Gyms, and it's a good gym, and I do want to go there again. JD Gyms Blackburn. This is also a decent gym. I don't think it was Exercise for Less residue either, so it's its own. Yeah, it's its own gym, because the treadmills, they've got the treadmills I was talking about earlier. But yeah, this is me practicing juggling. This is one of few that I've been to in Lancashire, and it's not a bad gym. It's also 24-hour. I think the Shrewsbury one might have been 24-hour. The Leeds North one is 24-hour. The Coventry one's not 24-hour from what I can remember. It's kind of attached to, it's kind of in a plaza, the Coventry one. And them ones tend to not be 24-hour. But this one here, this one's 24-hour, the Blackburn one. And this is me getting better juggling. JD Gyms Bristol. I think it's 24-hour, I think. It's a low ceiling kind of JD Gyms, but that's because they have an upstairs also. But yeah, it's not a bad JD Gyms. I did expect it to be a bit better than this, since a city like Bristol, I would have thought that they would have had a bigger JD Gyms, kind of like Shrewsbury. I've only been to this one once. But yeah, I won't mind going to it again and doing a proper vlog, same with the others that I've been to once. And then this is a Sheffield North. The Sheffield South one is a better gym. I think this one has recently turned 24-hour. But yeah, this one was an Exercise for Less it was an Exercise for Less. It's kind of a bit, when you walk in, you walk downstairs to it, and it's kind of like a, the first section of the JD Gyms is like I wouldn't say a narrow corridor, but it's kind of narrow compared to what you'd be used to. Those of you that have been to multiple JD gyms like I have. But yeah, it's not a bad gym. Obviously, you can't see much because I'm just on the bag. But I am gonna go there again and do a proper vlog. At least get footage where you can see somewhat of the gym. And excuse my poor boxing technique on this bag as well. But yeah. And JD Gyms in Bolton. I've been to this one a handful of times. It's not a bad gym. It's not a bad gym, but it's not like out of this world or anything. It's not. I won't put it up there in my top 5 JD gyms. But it's not too bad. It was an exercise for less. This one. No, it wasn't an exercise for less because I know where the exercise for less was around here, and this wasn't built after that, so it is its own JD gyms from what I can remember. But yeah, it's not a bad gym, but I wouldn't say it's anything special really. JD Gyms Castleford. This one's not 24-hour. It's inside the Escape shopping plaza. The Bolton one, that's 24-hour, I think it is. This one's not 24-hour. One thing about this gym is the connection's really bad on your phones. So you need to connect to their Wi-Fi just in case, you need your connection for if you're wanting to put your things on Instagram, stream your music and everything like that. But yeah, this JD Gyms, it's was it built after Exercise? Yeah, it was built after Exercise for Less. This used to be Exercise for Less, this gym. But then it's now JD Gyms, and it's pretty decent, to be fair. Not the biggest, but it's pretty decent. Has an upstairs for other things, but yeah, it's a decent JD Gyms. And yeah, so if you ever in Escape, then you've got this JD Gyms that you can go to. So yeah, it's me deadlifting 175 kilograms, which I think is my record at the moment. But yeah, and this is JD Gyms Leeds South. This was 13th of April this year. After over 2 years of no muscle ups, it took me about 15 minutes to trigger the muscle memory for doing the muscle ups again, which I was very, very proud of, because I hadn't done at that time. I hadn't done muscle ups for about 2 years because of my shoulder. My shoulder's still not the best right now, even though I'm doing them again now. But JD Gyms Leeds South, it's its own JD Gyms. It wasn't built after No Exercise for Less, and it's a good gym. It's a good gym. This is the one I go to mostly, and yeah, it's a nice spacious gym, kind of like the Leeds North one. It's quite spacious. It's second JD Gyms in Leeds. This is JD Gyms Burnley. I've actually been to that one. It's 24-hour. I didn't get any footage in there that I uploaded to Instagram stories. That's why it's not on there. But I've been inside this gym, and this is a good JD Gyms. It's its own JD Gyms, not No Exercise for Less residue, as I call it. Yeah, it's a decent JD Gyms. I'd recommend it. I've only been once, but I want to go again. Now, this is JD Gyms Huddersfield, and my boxing technique's actually much better on this one now, because this was 23rd of April this year. I'm wearing a 15 kg vest as well. But yeah, JD Gyms Huddersfield turned 24-hour last year. And it's, not the best of JD Gyms, but if they just added the calisthenics bars that you'd seen on the previous snaps, it would instantly be a better gym. But yeah, JD Gyms Huddersfield used to be a nightclub, this one. So it's not No Exercise for Less residue, as there was no Exercise for Less in Huddersfield. So it's its own gym. JD Gyms Liverpool. Now this is a city centre Liverpool one. This is the only JD Gyms I've been to in Liverpool so far. They've got about 5. And this is in the city centre. This JD Gyms is quite different to the rest. It's I don't know what the building used to be, but it's one of those where when you go inside a shopping center and you go up 2 floors, and then you've got a middle section to where you can look down right to the bottom of the bottom of the ground, or down to the ground, should I say. It's one of those kind of gyms. It's got 3 floors, and this is on the first floor. This is me on a boxing bag. As you can see, it wasn't no exercise for less residue. I think the boxing area, I think they could have done it a little bit better than where it is. It's just like in a corner, down on the bottom floor. But yeah, I want to go there again. But yeah, this one, JD Gyms Edinburgh. Now, this is the second JD Gyms I've been to in Scotland, and it's not a bad JD Gyms. It's got Odeon right next to it. But yeah, it's not a bad gym. It's quite decent. I don't think it was I don't know if it was an exercise for less before it turned into JD Gyms from what it used to be before. I don't know what it used to be before. But yeah, it's decent gym. It's one I've been to a handful of times up in Scotland. Then JD Gyms in Bradford, West Yorkshire. This one's 24-hour. The Edinburgh one, I don't think that was a 24-hour. No, it's not a 24-hour one. Let me just go back. And the Liverpool one's not 24-hour either. But yeah, the JD Gyms Bradford is probably one of the oldest JD Gyms. I think it came second after they built the Leeds one. I think this was the second one in Yorkshire, and then Batley got theirs in Yorkshire. But yeah, this is like old JD Gyms, really. But the thing is that what I'll say about this is it's the scruffiest JD Gyms I've ever been to. The changing rooms it's not the best in terms of cleanliness. The last time I was there, which was 12th of June, which was when I was here this time, one of the toilets was constantly flushing, so it was just water just constantly chucking down, and yeah, it was just so unkept. But yeah, I've been to this one, more than a handful of times. It's not a JD Gyms I'd go out my way to go to. Really, I did this day, but having been there and had that experience, and after being to so many JD Gyms, it just reminded me of how unkept this gym is compared to the others. So yeah, I won't go out my way to go there, but if I'm there, I'll go to it. Let me just, yeah, JD Gyms Luton, been there once. It's its own JD Gyms. I think it's 24-hour, and this is it's a good gym, to be fair. Next time I go there, I'll make sure I'll get the view of the bar area. It also has an upstairs as well. It's kind of similar to the Burnley one, but yeah, it's a decent JD Gyms. I do want to go to this one again. JD Gyms Cumbernauld, Arnold, however you pronounce it. This is in Scotland. Third JD Gyms I've been to in Scotland, and yeah, it's not too bad. I didn't spend too long in here, because I was on my work break and I quickly did a workout, so I didn't spend that long in this gym. This gym, it's not 24-hour, I believe. It's inside a shopping centre in Cumbernauld, so it's not a 24-hour one, but it's a decent JD Gyms, decent layout, and quite spacious as well, this JD Gyms. So yeah, JD Gyms Milton Keynes. This is a decent JD Gyms. It's also right next to Pure Gym, both 24-hour as well. Yeah, it's next door to Pure Gym in Milton Keynes. I've been to this one twice, and yeah, it's a decent gym. It's a good gym, this one. It's got the most boxing bags and most boxing equipment than any other JD Gyms I've been to so far. Like, this is the biggest boxing area that a JD Gym has, that I've been to. And as you can see, if you look past my left knee, you can see the black boxing thing there. I've never seen that in any other JD gyms. So I think this did used to be an Exercise for Less, because Exercise for Less was pretty, they were pretty good on having their boxing equipments and everything like that in there. So yeah, JD Gyms Derby, never been there. I was only there because I was at the carnival in Derby, and I didn't know that JD Gyms was right next to the park of where the carnival's held. So I took this, since I've got view of the JD Gyms, but I've never been inside it, and it's a 24-hour gym as well. So I'll be going there at some point. Newcastle Shymore. It's the best one in Newcastle I've been to so far. Nice and spacious. The gym is, it's an upstairs gym, so you have to go upstairs to get to this gym. But yeah, it's a decent JD Gyms, this. I've been there a couple of times. And yeah, if I was to go to JD Gyms in Newcastle, I've only been to 2. This one will be the one that I would choose to go to. Yeah, but there's the North Shields one that I need to go to that I haven't been to yet in Newcastle. So I'll go there at some point. But I'll be doing full vlogs on the JD Gyms that I'll go to again. So stay tuned for that, guys. Newcastle Benton. Now, this particular video here, I actually injured my lower back. This was only 170. Well, hold on. 25 times 3 is 75. 75 and 75, 150. Bar weighs 20. Yeah, 170 kilograms. You saw in the Castleford JD Gyms that I did 175. So it's not like I can't do this weight. But I actually injured my lower back on the second rep of doing this, which is unfortunate, because still to this day, I haven't fully got rid of the back injury. It's still kind of there. I should have just stopped after that, because my head wasn't in it when I was doing this. But yeah, Newcastle Benton JD Gyms. Second JD Gyms I've been to in Newcastle. It's a decent gym, but I do think the Shymore one's better. But this is where I injured my back. I had to pray down, and that's where I felt it. That was unfortunate. JD Gyms Leeds Kirkstall Road. This used to be a Exercise for Less. I used to go to the Exercise for Less when it was Exercise for Less as well, and it was the main Exercise for Less site. So this is very spacious gym. And yeah, I'm gonna get more content so you can see more of the gym the next time I go to this one. But this is the third and final JD Gyms in Leeds. But yeah, it's not a bad gym. At first I was disappointed, because I thought they could have put more in it, since you know what this gym used to be, because I remember what it used to be. But it's grown on me. The gym is better. It's better than it's better. It's still one of the decent JD gyms that I've been to, out of all that I've been to. You know what I mean? So as you can see, my boxing technique's a lot better. So yeah, JD Gyms in Wigan. Now this one is my favorite JD Gyms in terms of equipment, because it has some equipment in there that I've never seen before in any JD Gyms. Like there's a wheel thing. If you look past my left buttock, you can see like there's something on wheels. I've never seen that before. Apparently this is the biggest JD Gyms. Obviously it does look quite big, but I didn't really realize, because the Shrewsbury one was quite big as well. But coming to think of it, like if you look down the side of where it says Fitness Just Got Serious, there's a little doorway there. That's a whole weight room, so I can understand why this one would be the biggest JD Gyms. So this is another JD Gyms I've been to in Lancashire. JD Gyms in Middleton, which is Manchester postcode way. I went to that one recently. It's an alright JD Gyms. It's taken after Exercise for Less. One of the giveaways is the yellow thing you can see behind me. It's inside a shopping centre, so it's not 24-hour, I believe, either. Whereas the previous ones I showed you, Leeds Kirkstall, Newcastle Benton, I think that all these are 24-hour here, but this one's not 24-hour. But it's all right, JD Gyms, but I won't go out my way to go there again, kind of thing, because I don't really need to go in that area. But I was near this area, that's why I went to this one. JD Gyms Warrington. This is a good JD Gyms as well. It's nice and spacious, has an upstairs. JD Gyms Burns upstairs. From what I can remember of the treadmill, this was an exercise for less as well. You can always tell by either the dumbbells, the weight plates, and the treadmills. You can always tell which one used to be an exercise for less, and the changing rooms as well. That's the biggest giveaway. But yeah, this JD Gyms, I'd go to this one again. JD Gyms Livingston. This is the 4th JD Gyms I've been to in Scotland so far. And it's a bit of a weird one because this is on the top floor. If I want to go then do some weights, some heavy dumbbell lifts, I'd have to come out of this room into the hallway, down the stairs, still in the hallway, and then walk into another room. If I want to go into the hall, I'd need to go one floor down because it's on the 2nd floor. The weights and everything's on the bottom floor. And on top of that, even though it's 24-hour, on top of that, the connection is extremely poor. I only got Wi-Fi. Their JD Gyms Wi-Fi when I was at the door. So yeah, it's not. I'd go back there again to maybe do a vlog this time, but yeah, best one I've been to in Scotland so far. I'd probably say the Glasgow one, but I don't have any footage of that. So yeah, JD Gyms Rotherham. This was 2 years ago. I only put that on here so it could be on this highlights. But there, this JD Gyms is spacious. JD Gyms in South Yorkshire. It's not too far from the Sheffield JD Gyms. But yeah, I've been to this one only once. But I would go again. I'd go out my way to go to it again because it is a good JD Gyms, this. So yeah. It's a JD Gyms I recommend if you're in the South Yorkshire area. I think it was an exercise for less as well. It's kind of one of the good JD Gyms that used to be an exercise for less. JD Gyms Southend. Now this used to be an exercise for less. Definitely used to be an exercise for less. It's got 4 punching bags behind there. I never used the punch bags. This is quite a spacious JD Gyms. Their system's a bit weird because when I go to different JD Gyms, I have to get my QR code scanned so that I'm able to use it, and it lasts 6 months. If I haven't been to a JD Gyms in 6 months, I get removed off it, even though I can go to any JD Gyms. But down there in Southend, their system's weird. They don't have a system where they can do that. And the guy that was asking me about it, it was like I was speaking a different language when I was explaining it to him. But yeah, and yeah, I think that's a dead bird on top of the window up there. Or I don't know what it is. But so yeah, excuse that. But yeah, it's a decent JD Gyms. But yeah, it's a 24-hour one as well, I think. Oh no, was it 24-hour? I can't remember actually. I don't know if this was a... No, it's not a 24-hour gym. No, it's not a 24-hour, sorry. It's not a 24-hour JD Gyms, this. JD Gyms Batley, 24-hour JD Gyms. I think that turned 24-hour last year. And this is a... It's not the best of JD Gyms. It's not the worst. But it's not... It's one of the oldest JD Gyms. Probably the 3rd one made in Yorkshire. But yeah, it's all right. JD Gyms Manchester, was there 4 days ago. I've been there a couple of times. This is my 2nd time here now, at the Manchester one. I was just doing clean and pressing again. I think this is what didn't help my lower back injury, because I was doing these again. Because I'm trying to get into the clean and press and all that stuff. But it's a very crammed JD Gyms. I'm not gonna lie, it's crammed. Like, you don't want to go in here if it's very busy. I'm talking, you know, between 3 p.m. till 8 p.m. You don't want to be going to this gym. You know what I mean? You don't want to be going to this gym because it's just, everyone's just crammed next to each other pretty much, barely any space, and especially if there's classes on. This is in the city centre of Manchester, this one as well. And finally, JD Gym Stoke, which I was there a couple of days ago. This one's not 24-hour, same with the Manchester one, that's not 24-hour. This one's not 24-hour, and it's all right gym. It used to be an exercise for less. It's all right, but the JD gyms in Stoke that I want to go to is the Newcastle under Line, because that used to be a bus depot, so that's its own JD gyms. And I've had a look on Google Maps, and I'll had a look at some pictures, and yeah, that JD gyms, it looks like the real deal, you know what I mean? So yeah, guys, that's all the JD gyms that I've been to so far, and there'll be more to come soon, and I'll be doing vlogs showing you guys, you know, the JD gyms and everything like that. So yeah, stay tuned guys. Like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, link will be in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.